everybody to tonight's meeting of the Monte Sereno City Council. We have an announcement that we make for each meeting.
Thank you for joining us this evening for the August 6, 2024 Monte Sereno regular city council meeting. Before the meeting is called to order, I would like to point out a few house rules to assist council members, staff, and members of the public to successfully participate in this meeting. Tonight's meeting, Zoom is being used to allow public participation with the regular city council meeting. For those using Zoom to participate, there are two icons, chat and raise hand. We use chat only to report technical issues. If unable to hear a council member speaking, you raise hand to be recognized by the mayor and unable to speak to the council. Only attendees using the Zoom application can use the raise hand option to comment. Participants calling in from a telephone will only be able to listen and cannot provide feedback or public comment. Lastly, when we're not all in the same room, all the votes must be taken by roll.
Thank you very much. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Former Mayor and Councilperson Liz Lauer has agreed to lead us tonight.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Turner? Sure. Councilmember Mekachuk?
Present.
Councilmember Elahi?
Here.
Vice Mayor Craig?
Here.
And Mayor Wolsheimer?
Present.
Okay, do we have any that need orders of the day? Seeing none. Going to the announcements. Does anybody have any announcements that they would like? Announcements. And let's go right into oral communication. Does anybody in the public have an issue that they would like to discuss with the council that is not on the agenda tonight? No hands raised. Is there anybody online?
Is there ready?
Okay. On any written communications that you know about for tonight?
And none was received.
Okay, that brings us to the consent calendar. Does anybody have a item that they would like to pull on the consent calendar? Yes, Councilmember Turner.
Yes, I would like to pull the warrant list. I have a few questions.
Okay, great. So that would be item number two. All right, so that leaves us with 1 and 3 and yes.
I've got a couple of typos in the minutes, but we can do them offline.
Okay. Is it just remember?
Yeah, they're just.
Okay, very good. Anything else? All right, so we'll go ahead and pull item number 2. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to comment on any of the items that are on the consent calendar? Yes.
Could you do 2 and 3 together, because I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, sure. So we'll pull items 2 and 3. So we'll just talk about 1. No public comments in the audience. Anybody online wishing to comment?
No.
Okay, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve item 1 on the consent calendar.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. So can I continue the motion? Have a quick meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 18th, 2024 regular city council meeting.
Great. And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Now for the-
Because, Wolsheimer's not here presently.
Okay. You want to go ahead and do the roll call?
Councilmember Turner? Councilmember Mekachuk?
Aye.
Councilmember Elahi?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Craig?
Yes.
Mayor Wolsheimer?
Yes.
Okay, then,
I'll make a second motion to approve the minutes of the June 25th, 2024 special city council meeting.
Good. I have a second. Okay. And can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Elahi?
Aye.
Councilmember Turner?
Abstain.
Councilmember Beckinsale,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Craig,
Yes.
and Mayor Wolshammer.
Yes.
That takes us to item number 2. That is the warrant list dated August 6, 2024. You had
Yeah,
a couple of questions.
my first question has to do with the A joint powers insurance. I think the city attorney knows, what is that used for?
That's our self-insurance pool,
Sorry?
a self-insurance pool that the city is a member of.
Oh, okay. One question that I have is we have that 13,000 and the community. Why are we continuing to spend to the community center without approved plans?
That was, previous before the council had voted down the plan, assuming, what was previously completed prior to, the meeting with the council. I did not go forward with the community center. That was my assumption on that video. That, is probably reimbursable with about 68 grants. So, even though the money was spent, if the community center does not get built, I believe we can get those funds as allocated towards the development of the community center.
My last question is, last month, we approved a gas expense for $400. And this month, there's another $200 of gas expense to be paid for. How do we spend that much gas for 17 miles of Monte Sereno?
Well, every time the truck is filled up, it's probably about $92, and that truck is being driven along. Even though the city is, I think it's about 26 miles of roads. It's the surrounding communities as well. If you have to take the truck to the environment, find the shop, to pick up signs, it adds up quick. I can't get into the specifics of, whether it's 200 or 400, or if the 400 covers 6 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, but I haven't been emission planning. But I know that every time the truck is filled up, gas is $5 a gallon. And, I was, last time it was filled up, I was in the passenger seat and I saw that it was $2. It doesn't add up. The good news is the truck is being used a lot. It was being driven a lot every day, quite a bit. So, the truck has been really an essential thing for the city.
It's used for only business.
City business, that is correct.
Any question? Does anybody else have a question about the warrant? I did have one quick question for the city manager. There are 2 expenditures for services, and one was at 89 and the other one was at 95. And that due to the automatic increase and the contract as audited.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think that the 89 was for before the annual adjustment took place. The 92 was post-annual adjustment. I don't think it was 6%. I believe it was in the range of 3-4%. But I have to check.
Well, I think the difference between the 2 numbers is that
It's 6%. We can ask.
but that's just automatically
But that's built into
built into the contract. I just want to make sure everybody
There was
knows.
no additional fee that was not part of the agreement. It's the annual inflation adjustment, which takes place July 1st every year.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. Any other questions about the work? Okay. Seeing none, I'll ask again if there's any public comment people would like to make from the audience or online. Okay, can I have a motion for item number 2?
I'll make the motion.
Second. All right, have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Beckinsale,
Abstain.
Councilmember Logan,
Aye.
Councilmember Brenner, Vice Mayor Craig,
Yes.
Mayor Wolshammer.
Yes.
questions? I'll second that motion. Okay, public comment on item number 3, audience or online? Okay, so have a motion, a second, remember, Councilmember Elahi made the motion.
Councilmember Herder?
Yes.
Councilmember
Okay.
Elahi?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Craig?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Well, item number 4, this is our first public hearing of the night, or the only public hearing of the night. Consider objections to the 2024 Weed Abatement Program Assessment Report and adopt a resolution confirming the report and authorizing collection of the assessment charges.
From the beginning of the program,
Excellent.
and it means offered to go over PowerPoint, more information of the program, or
I'll leave that to the council members. Would you like to do presentation or?
very good. And it is something that we do so often in the process
Right.
of it.
I'm, on council for a few years, so I understand the process. My only question is, are there any,
Do you know the US solar companies now?
any objections to it, to the charges, to the, filings, that were made?
We don't have any objections that we really like to us.
Oh,
We
then
have
every
one
time
person
it's
online
all
that was, to testing all of that, I believe, but this hearing day is when the second. We haven't been on everything.
So, I'm good. Okay, so I don't think we need to go through the presentation, and I've read the report and I'm familiar with our financial, the basic process. So seeing that there's somebody in the audience willing about this, that's personally affected, I'll open it up to public comment, audience online.
Going to create another name on here. Just supposed to be at the end of the grade. I'm not sure if like they. Yeah. Or doesn't matter. But this is the moment for them to. address.
So anybody in the audience or online who would like to make a comment regarding item number 4, which is the Weed Abatement Program Assessment Report, please raise your virtual hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to council. Yeah, we're in the list. Who's voting?
There's 18 properties that are.
Yes. Do you have any other questions of staff or discussion item? Not, I will entertain a motion. Item number 4. Yes. Number 10.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution confirming the report and authorizing collection of the assessment charges.
I'll second that.
And with the roll call vote on this.
Councilmember Hurd,
Aye.
Councilmember Elahi,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner, yes. Vice Mayor Craig,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
So item number 5, consider and appoint 2 additional members to the 2024-2025 Monte Sereno Youth Commission.
So, the commission warrants calls for the appointments of the commission annually and allows it to
So after the June 4th business meeting, applicant, from the following. Have one, complete pilot and maybe, and both are actually one new person and one. But the staff recommended consider two applicants for the team for the Washington.
And we still have room for the rest.
From the last meeting, we had 5.
Yeah, very good. And would any of the applicants like to come up and say hello? Thank you, John, and Matt. You showed up, so you're going in the spotlight. Come on up. Come on up, say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Right.
I'm on this side now.
You're supposed to take a bow.
Oh, I'm Portia, Gladly, I'm a member of the,
You've been on the commission already for a number of years.
for 2 years, this would be my third.
Done a great job. You'd like to be on it again?
Yes.
Okay. We're to have you on here. Any other questions for our applicant?
What is the city council?
Okay, I don't know, this is something like, that I've been thinking about, like, I like to go downtown and on the, along Highway 9, there's not really a sidewalk, and I feel like it's safer, like, for you, like, myself, it's a little, I don't know, I guess.
Thank you very much. And okay,
Mira?
Hi, I'm Mira. Sorry I couldn't make it in person. I just wanted to join to see what I could. Sorry, I'm out of town, that's why I couldn't make it in person, but I just wanted to introduce myself. Yeah. Good to be here. Yeah, that's all. I'm the other applicant, by the way.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What school do you go to? What year are you in? And what do you hope to be able to accomplish, or what would you like to try to have the youth commission work on this year?
I go to Los Gatos High School. I'll be a senior this year, and something I would really like to implement in our community in Montesino is like a better community feeling. I think that's something that's really important. I'm just building more community spaces and having more opportunities for people to interact and just get to know each other. Just building a stronger community.
Good. Sounds like it will be a great addition. Do you have any other questions? Do any other council members have any questions or comments? Yes, Councilmember Makachuk.
Will you be attending the picnic in a couple of weeks?
Yes, I will.
Perfect. Look forward to meeting you there.
Yes.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay, and our first meeting is next Tuesday, correct? Are we having a meeting in August?
We still need to confirm, because it usually is,
Yeah, sometimes we do. Okay, but we'll see what happens.
we have the shelter, yeah.
All right. Well, then, at this point, I would like to see if anybody would like to put forward a motion to accept our two applicants to the Monte Sereno Youth Commission.
I would put a motion to,
Okay, we
put
have
together, the application approve the application for Mira and Portia.
excellent. So we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'd like to second the motion.
Okay, Mayor Wolsheimer has seconded it. And we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote now.
Councilmember Turner?
Yes.
Councilmember Makachuk?
Aye.
Councilmember Lahey?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Drake?
Yes.
Mayor Wolsheimer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for the time and the effort that you're going to put in this year. I think we're going to have a great year on the youth commission. looking forward to it. I'm the council liaison. If you, well, I know Portia knows that. I'm not sure if Mira does, so I look forward to working with everybody this year. And thank you again to our city clerk, who is our staff liaison, who just keeps this thing running and to mission of love. So thank you again for doing this. All right, so let's move on to item number 6. Discuss and consider nominee for the Monte Sereno Citizen of the Year. And do we have a staff report on that?
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. Good evening. Every year at this time, before our city picnic, we nominate the Monte Sereno City of the Year, or the community recommends the nominees for Monte Sereno Citizen of the Year. And this is an honor that whoever is selected holds for 1 year until the next Citizen of the Year is nominated. And they are introduced to Monte Sereno at the annual picnic. And it is quite an honor to have this title. This year, we have a nominee, which is nominated by one of our former mayors, and happens to be one of our former mayors. And it's up to the council to decide if they would like to select that individual as the Citizen of the Year, formally select, and then present them at the picnic. And that is the process, and I am available for questions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions for our city manager regarding this? Okay, at this point, I would like to open it up to public comment, and former Mayor Lon Allen would like to say a few words.
You know, the 45 years that Mary and I have lived here, it's really just a handful of folks who volunteer their time to make this, the city work. And I think no one has been more faithful and effective in this than former Vice Mayor Liz Lawler and currently Chair of the Better Streets Commission. So I'm very pleased to nominate her to be our Citizen of the Year.
Well, thank you very much. And Liz, would you like to come up and say hello?
Hello,
Introduce yourself.
I'm Liz Lawler, former mayor, current Better Streets Commissioner. Hello, Mayor and Council. I am touched and honored to be nominated for this. I was not expecting it, and all I can say is I love our community, and I am happy to serve in any way that I can. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you. 2 terms and Better Streets. I mean, you've been doing this now for the last 12, 13 years now, right? Thank you so much for all of your dedication to the city.
Thank you.
Any commissioner.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
you were on site harbor.
No, it was not, just Better Streets.
There's still room for personal.
Yeah, yes, that's still something I haven't done yet, so there you go.
You gotta go for the cycle.
Exactly.
Okay, would anybody else like to ask any questions or say anything?
No, I'd like to make a motion,
Excellent, we'll take a motion.
like to nominate and there's, is it Layla or Lawler? I'm kidding. That's Lawler.
Second that.
Okay, and we'll take a roll call vote on this.
Councilmember Lockheed,
Aye.
Councilmember Turner,
Yes,
Councilmember Manchuk,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Craig,
Yes,
Mayor Wolshimer.
Yes.
Thank you.
congratulations, Liz.
Thank you.
And we're gonna get a beautiful flyer at our city picnic. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks for that. Be prepared to give a long and emotional speech.
No pressure.
We're gonna have a stage for you and so,
Thank you.
thank you so much
Thank
and congratulations. All right. So item number 7, consider a resolution amending the responsibilities of the Financial Systems Ad Hoc Committee.
We get a break so we can get a picture?
Would you like to?
Yes.
Well, great. We're going to take a couple minute break to do a quick photo op here.
My personal photo, I guess, I didn't get the memo. Yes, we wanted to do that.
Yeah, we're going to take a 5-minute break.
I know, right?
If you don't mind. I appreciate it.
Yes.
My support.
Deal?
Okay.
And we're back, and we are on item number 7, which is consider a resolution amending the responsibilities of the Financial Systems Ad Hoc Committee. So do we have a staff report? Let's see our
Yes,
city controller or
from me.
from you.
And then our finance is available to answer questions as well.
Excellent.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Vice Mayor Craig, before you this evening is consideration to amend the Finance Ad Hoc Committee scope as was mentioned at the June 4th, 2024 council meeting to have the Finance Committee support the findings of the audit and the better improve operations in our finances. In the report, it's pretty self-explanatory what the current scope is of the Finance Committee and what is requested to be added in the resolution, which is attached to the staff report. There are two things that I wanted to bring up that are not part of the staff report in front of you. One was we received correspondence from the auditor who prepared the audit this year, and their fees to perform these activities on a monthly basis would be $4,200 to $4,500. So in this staff report, it mentions there's no financial or fiscal impact, but we found out that there will be a fiscal impact, assuming that we hire the entity that highlighted the findings in the audit, which was recommended by one of the members of the Finance Committee. Secondly, if we do select the same entity, Mays and Associates, that perform the audit to perform these activities, that would create a conflict of interest. So we would have to find another auditor for our 2024 audit and going forward. I think we've had Mays years now, so it would be good to continue forward with them to do our audit, but it was they that brought it up that it would be a conflict if they could not do the audit and perform this service. They would have to do one or the other on behalf of the city of Monte Sereno. So I wanted to bring those 2 points forward. Staff is available for questions, and thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions, our city manager? Okay, so did you have anything to add to it?
No, well, let's see, staff has been working diligently on these items listed here. Review of the financial systems that we currently use. Last quarter, we actually did a complete review of other systems used by other organizations like ours, comparing price, features, and comparing that to the specific needs of the city. So there was a report done on that. We concluded from that report that we would continue to use our current financial system, Sage 50 system, and more or less obtain training that's available from this particular system that we're using. So the plan is for me to actually take classes that this software system offers. The other item in terms of some of the lists that was mentioned in the audit in terms of weakness in our controls, staff is making effort to catch up on the treasurer's report, where the auditor said that that report should be completed within 45 days of the prior close. So that means April 30th report should have been done May 15th. That's on June 15th. And then May's report should have been done by July 15th. And then, of course, June's report should have been done will be done by September 15th. So the plan is to have, to catch up on that so that we're within that 45-day window that those reports should be completed. And then on the bank reconciliation, timely preparation, that's included in preparing the treasurer's report. It's merely a sign off by the city manager on the bank reports. So all those have been, are in process of improving the process that the finance officer is currently doing for the city.
Very good. Who is currently on the financial ad hoc committee?
Oh.
We have, Mayor Wolsheimer and we have Councilmember Mcutcheon.
Okay, very good. And one of the things that I was looking at here is that the committee is going to review a number of proposals. Are you actually working on a written proposal for the committee to review, or is this going to be just a meeting that you have with the members of the committee and explaining the process that you go through for the closings?
Yes, well, what we're doing now is we're reviewing the process that I'm using to actually close the books.
Okay.
And then looking at ways to help streamline that process. Because it's a lot of manual entries that need to be done, because a lot of our systems aren't fully integrated. So, so that process is being reviewed to see if we can make some difference in terms of the process. And then once that's done, then we'll circle back and present to the ad hoc committee as to what the objective was and what we completed from that.
Okay. And the other question I had was, since we don't have the initial resolution,
Yeah.
what was added to this? Do we have any?
So if you look in the, at the resolution itself,
Attachment.
in the attachment. it's
Oh, the other.
So
there
the
we go. That's the
resolution,
one.
yeah, if you look at the resolution under the last recital, those are the two items that are recommended to be added. And then the list below would then be the complete list, including the two new tasks
Okay.
added.
And to the current members of the committee, is this acceptable to you? Is this what you're hoping to be able to have?
Yes, it is. As I think the city manager pointed out in our June meeting, the council unanimously said we would like to expand the charter. And I did do some work with our city attorney in terms of drafting the 2 points to make sure that it fit with the requirements as expressed by council.
Okay.
So I'm pleased with that, and we being the ad hoc committee did meet briefly and had a phone call and went through those 2 bullet points that you see in the final where.
Okay, great. And let me just check in with Mayor Wolsheimer real fast. Mayor?
Yes.
Do you have any questions? I just want to make sure we weren't letting you just hang out there.
Yes, we had a very, like Councilmember Mcutcheon said, we had actually 2 meetings, one I believe in May and another one in just last couple of weeks. And so this proposal, this changed definition of the responsibilities of the ad hoc committee has the full support of both members of the ad hoc committee.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilmember Turner, you.
Yeah,
Your hand
I
raised.
wanted to make a suggestion here. Probably not for this year, but sometime in the future. If you look at the history of the city of Los Gatos, for example, before they had a finance committee made up of citizens, the residents were very unhappy with what was going on in the city and the way they managed their finances. I had a talk over the last, I was gonna say summer, but July, with some of the residents, and many of them are really, really happy with the way they have a finance committee made up of residents. And they looked at, they also looked at finance committee, much like what we're doing in the ad hoc committee, and give their input to council. And I think we should consider something like that. And this way we can get residents to be involved so that when we choose the citizen of the year, we're not choosing politicians of it.
Okay. All right, so at this point, do we have any other comments?
I just had a question.
Questions and comments?
I kind of got lost at the $4,500 a month. This is going to cost us. My assumption was an ad hoc committee comprised of the city council members who would be looking at the financial statements and checking out whether it's the first way to get this straightened out. Do we need to spend the $4,500 as part of this approval of this resolution per month, or is that something different?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Elahi. It wasn't in our budget. This probably should be an item that could potentially be discussed because that could add up to be about $50,000 a year, right, for this service. And what I thought might be a good approach if council thought that figure was too high, would be to have the actual finance committee meet with staff, let us show what we're doing and where we're headed before we commit to signing the engagement letter with the firm. In addition, as I mentioned, we're going to lose an auditor, so we'll have to go find another auditor, and that could end up being more money as well than what we're currently engaged to pay with this service. So there is the financial question. I understand that this is well intended and it is designed to help the city improve its operations. And but there is a cost to it, and the cost was just made aware to me recently. I received a letter that was dated June 21st. This is what it will be, but I just received it the other day after the staff report had gone out, and it has a list of the clerk prices, the senior management price, whoever's going to be involved with this in our city, and they said the estimate is $4,200 to $4,500 a month, as long as it's being done.
That's where I get lost. So what is it that's costing us? It's and I appreciate the architect's input on it. Because my thought in doing this was to have the finance committee review budget items like the treasury report, the warrant list and all that. Be able to let the committee see if that's whether it should be or not be. One, if you're talking about cost and just having somebody audit everything every month, or if you're talking about cost and buying better software, better hardware, it's two different items.
Thank you for that question.
Well, can we have Councilmember
Yeah,
McIntosh? I think he had something to say about that issue.
So if you take a look at the two bullet points, the first one says, review the observations noted in the external financial auditor's report for the year ended with the external financial auditor, including alternatives to address weaknesses described by the external financial auditor. Okay, so that's the ad hoc finance committee would like to really understand what the auditor found. And then the second point is recommend alternatives to improve internal financial processes and controls and recommend cost-effective alternatives independent of city staff. So it seems to me like we're sort of getting to the end game without having done any of the work. And the ad hoc committee hasn't been authorized to do this yet. So we were advised not to do anything outside of our existing charter, if you will. So that's what the next step would be. Okay, would be for the ad hoc committee to meet with the auditor, to have some discussions, and then to look at alternatives. So without saying, here's what we're gonna do, we don't know.
Right. So when you asked the auditor to give us some prices, did the price include talking with the finance committee? Because it sounds like what you got a price was to kind of come in and do a whole Price Waterhouse analysis of our processes and everything and come up with a report on how we can improve things.
So I have the letter here. It says, we will provide the following services for the city as deemed necessary by the city staff. Assistance with entering activity into your accounting software, performing account reconciliations of bank and treasurer's reports, assistance with wrapping up the city's year-end close and audit, other as needed projects.
But it doesn't sound like that is actually giving us a deeper dive into their report and explaining why they put the items into the report that are giving us concerns. So I don't know if that cost would be in the initial report, because I don't think we really had normally we've had a really good face-to-face meeting with them when they present the report, and I didn't see that we had that this year. Yes, Councilmember McIntyre.
What I believe the second bullet point says is that we, the ad hoc committee, would put together our own report that would say, here's what the alternatives are, and here's what we recommend council consider doing. So no action can be taken without city council. But if you say, who's doing the study? It's the ad hoc committee. And it's the ad hoc committee is Mayor Wolsheimer and myself. Okay, so that's where we're going. So we don't know what the alternatives are, and I haven't seen what city manager Leonardis is saying. I haven't seen a copy of that letter yet.
Okay, but it does sound like what the committee would like to do is meet with the auditor and get a better explanation or an explanation why certain items were put into the report, the end of the year audit report.
Absolutely.
But we don't have a price for that. All that letter seems to explain is, here's what we're gonna charge you to come in and fix some of the stuff that we mentioned. Yes.
So I was given a list of hourly rates and an estimate what it would be monthly from those derived from those hourly rates, and they said, this would be a monthly estimate of about 4,200 to 4,500, depending on the level of services needed. In other words, I know the 4 bullet points I just read previously may or may not line up with the 2 bullet points in the resolution exactly, but there will be an hourly rate for their services. If we interact with them, we will have to sign some kind of an engagement letter. And it's kind of an open-ended price, so to speak. Depends, maybe we use them $1,500 a month, or maybe it's $7,000 a month. I don't know what this will turn into. I just want the council to know that there is a cost associated with it. It's not for free. And because this is the firm that performed our audit, they're taking on a new role, which is in conflict to being our auditor. They can talk about the previous audit and how to amend things, but they can't do audits for us going forward.
Right.
So there will be a conflict if we hire them to do it.
But what I would be interested in is the cost that the initial audit was. Did that include kind of a post-mortem that they would give us, other than, here's a report, thank you very much?
They were at the meeting, I think, to present the findings via Zoom that evening.
Yeah,
And I think that,
but it didn't really give us a chance to get a good one-on-one interaction with them. And it really probably should have gone to the finance committee first and let them have an interview with them. And then the finance committee and the auditor should have presented to the city council. Isn't that the way that you would have envisioned it going, Councilmember Mecklenchuk?
Sort of yes and no, if you can just bear with me for a
Sure.
moment. First of all, it wasn't in the charter to be able to do that. So we were forbidden from doing that. We would have gone outside of the scope. Okay, so we couldn't do that. With respect to Silicon Valley Clean Energy, they have an actual audit committee of which I'm the chair. And the audit committee, everything's gotta be Brown Act, so you have to meet as a group. But as chair, I was able to meet one-on-one with the audit committee, or with the auditors and ask some independence questions and other questions. But that wasn't part of the entire group. So that's a process that I believe is robust. And when I say that's, if you're on the audit committee for a corporation, the audit committee meets one-on-one with the auditors. You know, so that there's management is not present, they can ask questions both ways and make sure that the financial statements are presented fairly. You talk about fraud and other material weaknesses, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So, but I believe that two things, regardless of what happens through the ad hoc committee, I think that conversation should happen between the auditor and at least one member of council.
Okay, so then it sounds like the auditor is kind of giving us a ballpark of $1,500 an hour to talk with us. And 1,500 an hour, wasn't that kind of what?
it's, they said 4,200 to 4,500 per month.
Right.
And they gave us a list of hourly rates for clerk, management, et cetera. So those hourly rates range from about $115 an hour to about $190 an hour.
Okay. So I guess I was adding up for an entire day, I'm sorry, to $200. So how many hours or how many days do you think the finance committee would need to spend working with the auditor so that we might be able to get an idea of how much money we would be spending?
So included in the charter, it says recommend cost-effective alternatives, right? So the first part, I'm sure would take no more than 2 hours. On the second part, City Manager Leonardis received a letter, right? So I would foresee something like, hey, maybe we want to issue a request for a proposal from you, and you give us a proposal, and we outline what the scope of work is. Then they can have something to put numbers against. Plus, they're not the only game in town, if you will. They're not our only alternative,
Right,
right?
we can go to somebody else.
Go to someone else
And keep
and
them
say,
as our
here's exactly, you got it. I don't know what the
That's what, I'm sorry,
Okay.
if I'm leading the witness in law terms.
Very good job.
Thank you.
I was just doing my job, following the law.
Yes,
It sounded like the things that these guys are proposing in the letters are things that the CFO does anyway. Other than what needs to be improved, I mean, doing the bookkeeping, entering, balancing the books, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what there's a necessity to spend money for that. I can fully appreciate Councilmember Mecklenchuk and the finance committee reviewing it and discussing it and then coming back with something saying we need something else. So and I want to make sure whatever additional items you're putting in this finance committee, it's enough so that Councilmember Mecklenchuk stops abstaining from looking at the financial reports and treasury reports. Does that give you enough to get you comfortable to be able to review?
It should, that's my objective as well.
Okay, good.
I think what you're asking for, Chief, I mean,
sure, go ahead.
is also, what is the function of a finance officer for Monte Sereno? what do we expect from him every month? Right? For example, I asked the question about the gas. Do you know, for example, what he used the gas for? That should be something that chief financial officer, should be able to answer. Because we don't have, a lot of employees. The other question is, I have a staff member wants to take off several days a week, right? Are they able to do that, given their residency with city? So those kinds of things are things that I think the chief financial officer should be able to answer.
Okay. Thank you. So I think at this point, we're going to start looking for a motion. So, sure, comment, go to public vote. Right, but I just want to make sure there are no more questions or anything. All right, so at this point, I'd like to open it up for public comment. Nobody in the audience, anybody online?
We do have folks online, no hands are raised.
No hands are raised. Very good. So then at this point, we should shape a motion and probably should be shaped so that there's some sort of a ceiling on the cost. Or can we do
So
that?
the only item on the agenda tonight is approving the resolution,
Okay.
expanding the scope.
Okay, so we're going to see if we can get this approved and tell the finance committee, don't spend too much money.
Spend it anyway, so.
All right.
I would make a motion to approve.
We have a motion for item number 7. We have a second?
Yes, I'd like to second the motion.
Thank you. We have a second from Mayor Wilsheimer. And at this point, we will have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Makachuk?
Aye.
Councilmember Lahey?
Aye.
Councilmember Kern?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Craig?
Yes.
Mayor Wolfenberg?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, very good. So we're on item number 8, designation of voting delegates and alternate for the League of California Cities Annual Conference and Expo, October the 16th through the 18th in Long Beach, California. So, anybody got a couple days free to go to Long Beach? Yes, sir.
I can do a staff report if you'd like, but
Sure, we'll take a step.
just, you are, I think, all familiar with this item. It's the annual League of California Cities Conference. This year it's in Long Beach, as was stated, and it is 3 days, October 16th through 18th. Every year, the city nominates a willing delegate from council, as well as at least one alternative. So we're looking for your nominations and votes on that, so we can appoint someone to go to the conference. Costs $700 for the 3 days. In addition, there's hotel, food, whatever else. Your expenses will be covered by the city of Monte Sereno.
An airplane.
And there is a, excuse me, oh, and your airfare, yes, to Long Beach. In addition, there is, the packet, the voting delegate information packet. It's included as an attachment to the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions of staff? Okay, let me just open up the public comment real fast. Do we have any members online with their hands raised that would like to comment on this issue?
No hands are raised.
No hands are raised. Thank you very much. So I'll bring it back to council. Councilmember Makachuk.
So if I look at October, we have a meeting on the 1st of October and then the 15th. And this is the 16th, 17th, and the 18th in Long Beach. It's correct. That's correct. Okay. I'll make a comment and say that I believe I understand now, after a few years, why they want your voting delegate to be actually designated by council, because you have to give the person the authority to vote.
Right.
So I kind of get it now. It's taken me a few years. And as I'm looking at my calendar, that I've got some work that has to be done in the end of October, but I could make it work between the 16th and the 18th. And I think I could be fairly frugal in terms of getting down to LA. So I'm just very good.
We have a volunteer.
Yeah, I think it is.
Would anybody else like to volunteer? We'll take volunteers first. Yes, and I'll also mention that historically, we have not really attended the conference when it's in Southern California, is that correct?
Actually, I've attended a couple of them.
You
I
have?
think we both attended.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I remember when I was on council first, it was, yeah, we'll go to them if they're in Sacramento or San Jose, but we weren't going to the ones that were in Southern California, so. But it is a very worthwhile group.
But you remember?
Yeah, that's, I know it is.
You remember
But I'm conference, I know
But that's great, Councilmember Mekachuk's able to work it in with some other events that he has going on down there. So we have a volunteer, and I'll sign up to be an alternate, because I think they need an alternate if nobody else would like to do it. Hello, Ebert. Mayor Wolsheimer,
I could be an alternate,
why don't we make you the alternate?
sure.
Okay, and I'll be the third alternate if they need one.
All right, make a motion?
And we have a motion.
Public
Yeah.
comment?
We did it.
Did it.
Motion to have, Councilmember Mekachek represent the city and vote as the voting delegate for the city at the conference.
And the alternates.
And the alternate.
And,
Mayor Wolsheimer,
Mayor Shimmer.
alternative one,
Craig be the alternates.
and I'll be alternative two.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Turner seconds it. We'll take a roll call vote on this.
Councilmember Turner,
Yes.
Councilmember Makachuk,
Aye.
Councilmember Lahey,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Craig,
Yes.
and Mayor Wolshammer.
Yes,
Motion carries.
So just technical, there's no conflict here for them to vote for themselves. There's no conflict for them to vote for themselves.
No,
All right. Wrong next.
Okay, well, that takes us to committee and commission reports. So who had a committee or commission that was meeting over the last month? Councilmember Turner.
Yes, I actually attended two.
Great.
The first one was, the first week in July. It was given by the Los Gatos Monte Sereno Police Department. And it was basically for us to attend, for the residents of Monte Sereno, Los Gatos to attend. Basically give them the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right, so some of the residents, talked to them about the crime that they have at Safeway and Walgreens, people stealing at CVS, and the high crime rate in the retail space. One of the things that I also mentioned was the problem that we had in Twin Creeks, where one resident had 3 burglaries, and they had a flock camera there in the last 6 months,
Wow.
and nothing happened.
Same house.
Same house, people were home, and they went to the police department. The police department couldn't answer their questions. And they said, well, we gave you the data. And they said, what did you find? The police department said, well, we can't tell you because it's proprietary information. So that kind of stuff. So I said, I think some of the things that we need to do, we need to be able to, if we're going to use flock cameras, we need to be able to iron that out. So, and the other complaint for the residents was that we don't know who at the police department would contact anymore. So that's why today they had that meeting at 5:30 for us, for Monte Sereno folks and Los Gatos to attend to meet the police department. So that's the result of, I think, of that meeting. And then at the end, July 31st, I had a meeting with a search group with the police department, and they introduced a new emergency management captain. He was the chief of the fire chief of, I think it was Santa Cruz. So now he works for Los Gatos Monte Sereno, and he's going to put together the Firewise neighborhood watch group and the CERT group together as one organization and make it work better. So
Great.
those were the two things that I attended.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember McIntyre?
Thank you. I have had no meetings, in July, and August, things are starting to get busy. The BTA Policy Advisory Committee meets this Thursday, and one of the things that I'm going to be pursuing there is finding out about grants. And, I've been reading what some other cities are doing, and I think that there's some opportunities there. But that's this Thursday. Then next week on the 13th is the Silicon Valley Clean Energy Board of Directors meeting. And then on the 14th, we're having a special study session at 5 p.m. on affordability. So that's something that's going to be new. And then our picnic is on the 18th. Looking forward to our next meeting. Yep. But that's what I'm kind of looking forward to in my calendar, but there have been no meetings. Okay. But things are starting to get stacked up now for September.
Fall session is starting.
Yep.
That and football. Councilmember Alani?
I have nothing to report, except that Thursday, the city association will be meeting in Morgan Hill. We'll have to drive down there for the Los Altos, because our chairperson is from that area, but we'll be rotating where they meet. So, after Thursday, I have something to report, I guess.
Okay. Mayor Wolsheimer, anything to report?
Very little, actually. The Silicon Valley Animal Control meeting was canceled due to lack of new business. The Santa Clara Valley Water District Commission actually convened, but was subsequently canceled due to lack of quorum. Not enough members were present. The mayors of Santa Clara County are meeting next Friday at San Jose City Hall. And that's it.
Okay, very good. I attended the West Valley Mayor and Managers meeting in place of Mayor Wolsheimer, and there was a representative from the, I'll just say BAFTA, Bay Area Housing. Do you remember the rest of it, Steve?
Something like that, the
Something
housing
like
bond.
The housing bond. So if you remember, we had
Financing authority or something like that.
She was with the county of Santa Clara, the deputy council, I believe,
yeah.
and she was presenting the $20 billion housing bond, BAHFCA or something like that.
Something like that. You may remember we had a special meeting in June to sign a letter better outlining how other cities are going to reap the rewards of this bond. And I can summarize it very quickly because she basically looked and said, Monte Sereno, you're pretty much not a part of this discussion. And then she proceeded to tell everybody how they're not going to get money either. That because if you read the bond, whatever Santa Clara gets, something like 80% of it's going to go to San Jose. It's just like, sure, throw some scraps out for everybody else. But she was basically saying that they're going to push for this to be a project-based funding apparatus. So it's not going to be Sunnyvale, you get this much based on your population, Campbell, Cupertino, right on down the line, but it's going to be, if you have a project where you're going to be able to build below market rate housing or affordable housing or some other project along that, you'll submit it to the organization. They'll take a look at it and see if they have any money available that they can help you move along, but they aren't actually funding an entire project. So that was it. But it was, other than that, it's always good to see our fellow mayors and city managers. And I don't think we really had anything else to talk about. Everybody was happy that their housing elements are all approved. So everybody in the West Valley has an approved housing element now. And
Yeah, let me follow up on the bond.
yeah,
The cities association is probably going to be considering it Thursday.
okay.
So what to do with it. And we've always argued that the small cities like Monte Sereno need to get the fair share, they have a role to play. And I'm hoping to discuss with Saratoga and other smaller cities, put something together. So if you got some thoughts on what we could present them as small cities that would allow us to pull some money, then that would be a good idea. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on it.
Well, I will say, as she was talking, that was the only thing I could think of is, because really the representative, the mayor Campbell, seemed to have some sort of a plan that they're working on, because they're along the Winchester corridor, which is one of the areas that they targeted to have projects done. And so she had at least something that she might be able to present. But yes, it would be interesting if we could say, hey, we should get a little something, but we're not doing anything here in the city, but maybe we can help Los Gatos or Saratoga. It'd be interested if they would consider that.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up.
Yeah, we have some, the cities association, Monte Sereno has one vote, just like San Jose. So
Right.
you can get enough smaller cities, fine tune on that, and we would get someplace. So I don't know what's the great, other than the community center, what's our other great need in the city?
What is our what?
Other than the building, the community center, what's the other great need that we have?
The other great
Need that Monte Sereno has?
need that we have.
Other than the.
Well, we have as was mentioned by the youth commissioner earlier, potentially the sidewalk gap project
Okay.
on Highway 9.
All right.
But these are really gonna be housing projects. They're really not gonna be community type projects. So that would
If
be,
you want our vote, it's gonna give us what we need.
This is the bond, I believe, where they tax, it's $100 per $100,000 of property value, property assessment. So if you have a $5 million house, it's $5,000 extra in property taxes every year. That would come out of Monte Sereno and then go into a pool and would probably be mostly utilized by another community. There was also talk of San Francisco and Oakland getting the lion's share earlier on. I don't know if that's still the case.
yeah. And just to let you know, this bond is for all of the Bay Area counties. It's not just a Santa Clara. It's not just a Santa Clara bond.
And it started as a $20 billion bond, but it's really, if you look at it later on, it's gonna be 45 billion.
Right. Okay,
We already have a 10% sales tax, so we're not
welcome to California. All right, council member comments. Anybody have any comments? We'll start on my left with Councilmember Lahi.
I think we should have.
Okay, Councilmember.
The only comment I have is with respect to San Jose Water Company and their increase in rates. What we've put together is a survey, and I was wondering if I could pass it along to the council members here. If you've got 6 minutes to fill in a survey so that we're represented. Okay, I can email that through the city clerk, and perhaps we could even do an e-blast on it so that we're represented. I don't know if Mr. Leonardis would agree to that, but I could even email the survey to him so he could take a look at it as a member of Los Gatos. So as a resident of Los Gatos. No, that's my only comment.
Okay. Councilmember Turner. Nothing. Mayor Wolfheimer.
No comments.
No comments. And I don't have any comments either. So that will take us to the city manager report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members. You might have noticed that the building is, please excuse our dust, it's being painted. What color is it? What color is it going to be? I was thinking off-white, not this, this is the primer. So off-white goes with the brown roof. As was approved by council in the budget process in June. Also the city picnic, August 18th, before our next council meeting, how many people do we have signed up?
I don't list the RSVP, but I was out of town but I got quite a few emails that came in. So I'm still responding to some of
More
them,
than 200
a little over 200 actually.
so far.
But I will tell you that we usually get a lot of people very last minute. So,
In either event, we're anticipating a very good turnout at the picnic. And we have 3 food vendors plus ice cream.
So are we staying within the budget?
Yes,
For your question for,
20,000 and below.
Okay, very good.
So
It's gonna be a lot. so-
come one, come all. Well, we don't know what the weather's gonna be like yet,
Yeah.
but we do have a shady spot.
Yeah, put a lot of water in it.
But
Is it
we're
a
gonna,
different spot or same?
we will be, city clerk has volunteered to pick up the drinks from Costco. We're not gonna run out of drinks. We don't anticipate running out of
If
drinks.
you need another pickup truck, then please let me know.
Okay,
And
and a
I,
cyber truck,
I will volunteer for a source of electricity,
okay?
because I've got lots of electrical capacity with the truck. You can even, with Silicon Valley Clean Energy, they use their Lightning F-150 to power one of the food trucks that usually has a generator, so I can even
Hmm.
offer to do that,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
so.
I'm sure they would like that.
And then my other offer was gonna be if there's anyone that needs a ride to get there, I could give people some rides, a couple, 3 or 4
Okay,
trips, sort of.
it might be helpful to make sure everybody knows that we're in a new location and probably give them a map, especially if they're walking, which gate that they can come into, because with our new location now, they'll be able to walk on University and come in that side gate and get to us pretty easily, correct?
Hypothetically, yes.
Okay,
And that makes good sense to, walk
yeah,
from, say, Winchester Boulevard area.
yeah, so it might just be worthwhile to put that out, because I don't think a lot of people know that there's an entrance over there that they can sneak in through.
So Pepper Tree Lane, I believe.
In fact, if they're good enough, my kids, when they would go to school, would walk down Vineland and cut through the apartment complex there and weave their way through, and that's how they would get to, Fisher. They knew a route. You can make your way through just by making left turns or right turns, but they had a pretty direct path. Okay, anything else, city manager, for your report?
That's all this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, anybody have any ideas for a future agenda item?
The ad hoc committee will probably work with the city attorney, city clerk to put on something on the agenda at a future meeting. And I think the ad hoc committee took your concern in terms of how much is this gonna cost, so we may ask them for some, how much is this gonna be in addition to the audit that we've already paid for.
Okay. All right, great. So at this point, we are going to recess to closed session. So item number 9 is going to be a conference with legal counsel. And this is under Government Code Section 54956.9, case Pageant versus Curtis Wright et al. In the United States District Court, Northern District of California, San Jose Division, case number 5:04-CV-03946. And at this point, I will open it up to public comment if there's anybody in the audience, or do we have any hands raised online?
No hands are raised.
No hands are raised. So at this point, we will recess to closed session.
Well, we do actually just have a hand raised, but I can check to make sure that this is regarding this closed session.
Okay,
Hello,
Hello?
Barbara? Yes.
Yes.
So for the public comment, it is regarding, item number 9, for the closed session. Do you have a public comment regarding that item?
It was regarding the weed abatement inspection fee. Is that what you're referring to?
No, unfortunately, your hand was not raised during the time that we opened the public hearing. Our Vice Mayor, Craig, offered, for that to be something that was open for the public in person as well as online. And unfortunately, your hand was not raised during that time.
So this is the first time I've done this and I'm out of the area, so I am on the Zoom. And I did send you a picture. I had clicked hand raised. I thought it says hand raised. I thought it was raised the entire time.
No, so the hand needed to be raised during the time that Vice Mayor Craig indicated, if there is any public comment, or yes, the public hearing was open and if anybody wished to comment during that time.
So the picture down below, it says chat, hand raise. And mine was hand raised. If I click it, it says hand lowered. So I thought hand raised meant hand raised.
Barbara, if you'd like, I can check in with you tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right. And I did send you a picture of it from my screen.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we in recess now?
No other hands are raised, so.
We are recessed. All right, we'll be back in a while to report out.
We're back.
Okay, we are back and we are reconvening from a closed session. And there is nothing to report. And with that, I will adjourn this meeting and we'll see everybody on August 23rd. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good job.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.